League this summer. He was an all-star, hit 305. And more importantly, he fits into this demonstration probably the best on our team because he has one of the best routines I've seen for a collegiate hitter. He's very, very purposeful in how he attacks his day and how he goes through batting practice, through the cage, takes it into the game and his at-bats, but he's very, very purposeful, and he has good proprioception of his body. And proprioception means understanding what it feels like to move certain parts of your body. So part of building a routine is identifying what it feels like to load into your core, to separate, to have good balance, to have a good weight transfer. These are all kinds of ideas that we want to touch in a routine. And when Ethan comes down to the cage, he's very deliberate and he's very aware of what it takes for him to be prepared to come out onto the field and perform at a high level. We actually just had a meeting yesterday and we were talking about that routine that he's building and working on going forward. And he's so meticulous that he knows he takes 14 swings off the tee. 14 swings. He's got his routine down that hard that he knows, all right, when I get into this position, it takes me 14 swings. I do that, I move on, and I'm trying to feel my body work sequentially, and I want to focus on good rhythm and make sure that my mind is clear when I enter the box. So if we're doing a routine properly, the goal here is to prepare physically so that when we come up top, our mind is clear, and we can just take over, and we can trust our instincts. Because when I come in the box, I want to have that clear mind. So for me, when I'm building a routine from scratch, there are 5 parts that I want to touch and I want to make sure are included in a routine. And then as I go further in my career and I get a little bit more aware of my body, I can customize it so that I find those cues that work for me and that they get me right to play in the game, and then I build a routine based around those because that keeps me going and that sets me up for success. But for us today, we're going to talk about 5 different areas, and it begins with the idea of activation. And this is big for me because it's how we collaborate with our strength and training program, and we're trying to always be as athletic and dynamic as possible in the box. So before we even pick up a bat, all of our hitters come in, and they have individualized routines based around trying to feel parts of their body. So this first drill here, we call this Pvc separation. So what you do is you get into a side lunge position here with your back foot parallel to the wall, the front foot slightly open. And the goal here is to get the PVC pipe up over your shoulder, and then you're going to just twist the upper body, okay? And you're going to go back and forth, but the main focus is to feel the hips stay locked. You want to be able to feel the upper body move independently from your lower half. Now, when you watch this without a bat in your hand, you might be wondering, why is this important? But the key to hitting is to be able to separate your upper half and your lower half, to stay in a position and give you adjustability and flexibility if you get caught on an off-speed pitch. Your timing might not be perfect. If I can get into this position in a good launch spot, even if my lower half goes, if my shoulders stay square, I always have a chance. Because then if my shoulders are square, my hands stay back. When my front shoulder pulls and it follows my lower half, it's not possible for me to keep my hands back and loaded. It's just not possible. So the reason that we touch that drill, we want to prime the body to be able to feel that separation. And that's a good way to tap into, again, that idea of proprioception, where I can feel the difference between my upper and lower half working. Really important concept, because the quicker that we can get into a position where we can consistently keep our hands back here, I could always play. It's almost like when you hear a pitcher say he gives up a home run on a slider and he had the hitter beat, but the hitter kind of stuck his butt out and got the barrel to it. It was great hitting because his body was in a position where he still had play, right? Even though the lower half might have given out, his hands and his upper half gave him a chance to stay in a position where he could release the barrel. And it might not have been in the prettiest swing and the most synced up swing, but because of the way that his body worked, it gave him a chance to be adjustable. So that drill there is a good way to kind of feel that. It's a good way to identify the difference between your upper and lower half. So from there, you guys can watch, we'll get Ethan over here. We call this hitter med ball toss. And this is a good move because what we're trying to establish here, when we load, my goal when I'm loading is to load into my back hip. A load in hitting is not just to transfer weight. I'm not just trying to tick-tock like a clock. I'm not just trying to go back and forth. The purpose of a proper load when I'm hitting is to create energy, store energy, and gather it in my back hip, and then keep it in that position so when I decide to make a move to ball, I could fire it and I can go from there. So if I'm properly loading, I'm getting into that back hip. This drill here that Ethan's about to show you, you start with your back foot parallel against the wall, you open your hips to a 45-degree angle, and you start with the med ball in your chest. And then you're going to rock back, and what you want to do is coil the lower half and feel a little pinch back here in your hip. You want to feel that pinch, and then as you move forward, you want to control your weight transfer and fire that ball into the wall. Go ahead, Ethan. So the purpose, again, we're taking the bat out of our hands. We're not worrying as much about making contact, driving the ball. We're trying to be as athletic and dynamic as possible and feel that load and that gather. Store that energy and then release it as I fire the ball. Go ahead. Go two more, please. Couple key points to think about as Ethan does that. You don't see this move here in a big jump forward. It's less momentum and it's more leverage drive where you finish in a really good, strong, athletic, balanced position. Another point that I wanted to point out from Ethan, he had great flow through that, right? It's a very dynamic movement. He's a good athlete, but he focuses on breathing and rhythm because when our bodies are loose, that's when the bat's moving the fastest, right? When I get tense in the box and I feel my muscles really engaged, my bat's going to slow down. So good hitting is about fluidity, it's about breathing, it's about no tension in your muscles and trusting that your body is going to work from the ground up and you're going to whip that bat. So kind of building off that idea, we want to touch that separation. We want to get a good hip load drill. There's a couple other activation drills that you guys are going to do downstairs today in the cage to try to experience that, try to feel some parts of your body that you might not be as aware of today. From there, our hitters will then progress into the tee. So that first phase of building a routine is activate before you get to the bat. I don't think it's the best idea to just grab a bat and go hit. It's a good idea to do some dynamic movements. If you have a med ball available, you could do that. Anything that engages your core and gets your body going a little bit before you start swinging is a good idea. From there, the second part of my routine that I encourage you to think about when building your own is rhythm. When I get on the tee, I think it's important that your first couple moves are big and athletic and really rhythmic. So we call this the walkthrough drill. You guys might have seen this in the past. There's no rhyme or reason to, it doesn't have to be 2 or 3 perfect steps. The key for you is to start back behind the tee and put your body in a position where you're moving through the ball with some momentum and you're feeling your body work from the ground up with great rhythm. Go ahead, Ethan. So most of our guys will start their routine once they get on the tee with this drill or a variation of this drill, but the purpose in all of it is that you get an ability to come in and instead of getting over the tee and feeling tight and feeling like you have to be perfect, I just want to feel my body work from under me and I want to feel that bat move as fast as I can. I think it's really important when we're working off the tee to not force ourselves to be perfect from the first swing. Let your body work, right? Especially in a setting like this where there's not a moving ball. Always encourage yourself to be as loose and as athletic as possible. As we move closer to the game, our movements will tighten up naturally, right? So when I get off the tee, I started my activation, I'm athletic, I get back on the tee, and I still feel that good flow. A big point here too with Ethan, when you're doing a walkthrough drill, really important that as you make that move forward, you're not just drifting to your front side. That's the one thing you want to avoid in this drill. Everything that we do needs to be centered around athleticism and rhythm, but we always have to maintain our balance. And that starts by identifying where your weight is. If you can get that into your hip on that load, then you're stretching from that position and then always firing in a really good, balanced, strong position here. Take 2 more this way, Ethan. Good rhythm. Good. So you're building your routine. We have activation. We have a rhythm drill. And now we talk about the next phase of the swing. It's separation. Separation is the best way to get natural flexibility and adjustability in your swing. So all separation is on a basic level is you get it where are your hands moving when your front foot is going forward. So ideally in a swing, as my foot's moving forward, my hands are moving back. That move right there is how you have the ability to hit multiple speeds. If everything's going together at the same time, you don't have any room for error. You have to be perfect and you have to be on time. So a way to emphasize that in a routine is to put yourself in a drill position where you're forced to feel that stretch. So I call these stretch swings. Ethan, come here and show the guys the setup, please. You'll set up real tall, feet together. Actually, turn around so they can see where your hands are in relation to your chest. So we start the hands right there. And then as you move through that drill, you stretch and the hands will naturally go back into their loading position. But that's a good way to feel separation. And remember, the purpose of the routine is to get your body feeling things that are important to your swing. Because when you train them and you rep those out, they start to become part of your pattern, right? And when things get part of your pattern and they're in muscle memory, you don't have to think about creating them in the box. So when I build the routine, I want to make sure I touch these main concepts so that they become routine for me and they just become part of who I am as a hitter. So as Ethan does this drill, you're going to notice a good weight transfer, a good control, and great separation from the foot and the hands. That way he can work through his swing and have some natural adjustability and not have to worry about everything coming together at the same time. So if the pitcher hangs Ethan a hanging curveball, he has the ability, because of that separation, to get into this position. And as that foot's going forward, the hands can just work back just a little bit more naturally, and then he could swing. If everything's coming together at the same time, the only room you have for adjustability is if you slow your swing down. And that's the last thing we want. That's the pitcher's goal. The pitcher wants to get us to slow our swing down. He wants to change our timing. So we need to make sure our swing has a good mechanism to create some of that naturally. Okay? So we have the activation, rhythm, separation, and from there, now we're getting closer to actually replicating pitching. So I want to talk about the point of context. Ethan, why don't you slide over here so these guys can see? Okay, so from Ethan's perspective, for a left-hand hitter, we have 3 points of contact that I like to work on in the cage. And I like to start from the outside to the inside, and from the top of the zone down to the bottom. So for us, we like to lay 3 balls out, and it goes right across the plate diagonally like this. And really, it's based off your front foot. Okay, so the closer the ball is to your body, can you guys all see me here? Are we good with this? The closer that ball is in, the further the ball is going to be out in front of the plate where we're going to make contact. As it gets to the middle of the plate, the ball is going to be much closer and much more in line with your front foot. And the further the way the ball is from my body, it's going to be a little bit deeper in relation to my front foot. When you manipulate your contact points, you can have a consistent swing. As you play at a higher level and the velocity increases, you won't have the ability to read where the pitch is going and step in the right direction. It doesn't play that way. We change our point of contact and we give ourselves the ability to drive pitches on the outer half and to pull pitches properly on the inner half. So as part of a hitting routine, as we get closer to the moving ball, it's important to identify where these pitches are and what I need to do with them. So Ethan, come here. What we generally do, we'll have guys go through a round of, 9. We'll go 3 away. You go ahead with 2, Ethan. A little deeper contact point. This ball is just inside his front foot when he lands. Gives him an opportunity to stay on it and drive it to left field. Then we move it to the center pitch. It's more in line with his front foot when he lands. Good. One thing I want you guys to notice as we move this ball inside and a little bit out in front of his front foot, look where Ethan's head starts when he works off the tee. He always starts by having his head out, visualizing a pitcher delivering a pitch. This is purposeful practice, guys. It's very purposeful, it's very deliberate. He does it every rep, and that's why he trains at a high level, and that's why he performs at a high level on the field. It's easy to get into a routine on a tee and not be purposeful and just be staring down at a ball, but that's not how we hit it. Always be challenging yourself in a practice setting to create a game-like mentality and a game-like environment. Okay? Ethan, take 2 more. Show us a good pull side here, how you clear the barrel properly. Excellent. Good spin. Put it right in that right center gap. He has a little more clearance on the front side with the location of the ball, and that's all you need to do. We're not trying to hit the ball into the street. We're trying to backspin the ball properly. He does a very good job of that. See now he did his contact points. He's approaching being able to go out on the field, hit. One thing that I really encourage you guys to think about, doing partner tee drills is something that I like a lot. And what we'll do here, we'll set these up because one thing I think we don't train enough as hitters is the decision-making process. I think we get too used to understanding this ball is being flipped at 25 miles an hour in the same spot every time. We're just practicing swinging. Now it gets a little challenging to create a decision-making environment off the tee, but you just need to be creative with it. So what we like to do here, go ahead Ethan, we call this a decision-making take drill. What I'll do is his partner, I've set up this pitch here to represent a ball away. It's up and away. It's a pitch that we can't really do any damage on. Then I give him a middle in fastball a little bit down. That's the pitch that we hunt. That's the pitch that we need to be able to consistently get our barrel to. So when we work together in the cage, as we get closer to progressing to a moving ball, I want him to turn his brain on. As he starts this load, he doesn't know if he's going to swing or take it, but in his mind, he's on go. He's going to load and get through his hitting process, and he's going to be thinking, I'm going to crush this ball in until I hear away. So my job as his partner, I'm going to say away or in. If I say away, he's going to take. If I say in, he's going to drive the ball with good spin to the middle of the field. Go ahead, Ethan.
I know, really.
Away. Good.
Wow.
Away. In. Good. Take 3 more. Sorry. In. Good. Away. Now, when you get that away call, I want that take engaged, just like it does. That's how you know that you're in go mode. I can watch any of you guys hit, and sometimes the most valuable thing I see is the way you take a pitch. It shows me your mentality. That's what I want to see as hitters. I want to see guys that are on go, and they're hunting fastballs, they're hunting good pitches to hit, and they are looking to hit. So the purpose of this routine, you had your activation, rhythm, separation, point of contact, and then you finish with some decision making. As you guys move forward, I think that's a good framework to build a routine from an idea standpoint. And the whole purpose, guys, of building a routine is to be able to put yourselves physically and mentally in a position that when the game starts, you have a clear mind. It's a big idea that we talk about Vanderbilt here. I'm not big on mechanics as much as I am on what are you thinking when you step in the box. My thoughts when I get in the box, I am super aggressive, to my pitch. I understand where my pitch is, but I want the pitcher to know that when I come in the box, if he makes a mistake over the middle of the plate, I'm on him. I am on that. I'm not missing that pitch. And building a foundation with the drills and cues that you need to get your body right every day, that gives you the opportunity to come into the box with a very, very clear mind. Because what we can't do as hitters, we cannot come in here and think about separation and balance and everything. No, that's over. That's why we have our routine. You give yourselves an opportunity to touch that in the cage, do that in your basement, do that with your dad at the park, but when the lights come on and you step in the box, you have a presence as a hitter and you are in control of your bat. It's a big idea. You guys need to get that. You can't walk away from here not understanding that idea, because the quicker you understand that you set the tone of the plate, the quicker you'll be a better hitter. Think about the guys in the major league right now. There's some guys that come up to the plate and you can't take your eyes off them because you know something's about to happen. That's a presence, right? And that's confidence. And the best way to build confidence is to train at a really deliberate and purposeful level every single day, anytime you take the bat. So I challenge you guys moving forward, kind of identify how your swings work, take some ideas from here. Every drill that we just showed you, you will do at some point this weekend, and make it work for you. But always have a purpose when you get on these tees and when you do your work. Have a purpose when you take your swing. It could be decision making, it could be an athletic focus, it could be a balance focus, but always have an idea of what you're trying to do. Because what will happen then is if you stack reps up like that, when the game begins and you step in the box, you're going to have a very clear mind, and that natural rhythm and that natural athleticism will come out, and you'll be in control in the driver's seat. Okay? So let's have a great day today. I look forward to watching you guys continue to play, and let's have a good one.